Make your husband your first investor. What am I missing? I'm honestly a little tired of this narrative as a woman.
I did not say that. That did not come out of my mouth.
Avneet, I don't think Pod has done justice to your introduction. I just wanted to give you a slight walkthrough. Avneet, where she is, where she started, because that's a story that I follow. We connected on LinkedIn, and I reached out to you straight away when I saw that you built a community. That's the first time I reached out to you, right?
Yeah.
And I said to you, like, my heart, I think it was something very much like, my heart is with you. I wish you all the best. And I love it when people actually bring women together. No woman, anyone in this walk. Because this thing about us trying to do something, it's a challenge and a half. But when you have people like you on Davos, meeting the right people, bringing people together, I get goosebumps. So thank you for giving us the time.
It's very kind of you. Thank you for having me here.
Unfortunately, we had another amazing speaker. Khadija. Khadija is from UK, did tremendously well on a TV program where you have to battle for the best. And the majority thing is you have to battle with Muslim men. And it's not easy on live TV. Khadija is not too well today, but hopefully, inshallah, we'll have her on the next event. Back to you, Avneet. Little bit about your journey.
Little bit about my journey. Wow. You're asking me to pack in a lot of years of my life, but I'm born and brought up in Abu Dhabi. So I'm Indian by origin, but very much an Abu Dhabi kid of the 80s who grew up here. And parents, my father came in here when he was a bachelor. Now he's retired here. So schooling was through and through seeing Abu Dhabi go from four crossroads to the mega city that it is and the capital of capital that it has become today. I did step away from my higher education because back then there were barely, I think, 3 universities in Dubai. There was AUD, AUS, and I think Wollongong University.
Yes.
How many of you guys studied here in Dubai? You did? Okay. Any of you that have been here, like resident and, like generations have been here? Okay. So, yeah. And I think I remember when we would drive from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, we'd actually see emus and camels. Today, it's just skyscrapers. So, I think the city has evolved a lot. And whilst I stepped away, I was in Bombay to become a banker because my mom's idea of having a successful life, my mom is a very strong force in my life. She was like, you must become a banker, you'll have a half-day job, you'll get married in time, you'll have a good fat salary, you can have 2 kids, a perfect picture on the wall, and as a woman, your life is a tick mark. But as luck would have it, I landed up in Bombay, which is the city of dreams, and instead of becoming a banker, I landed up becoming an anchor. So media happened to me in my 3rd month in Bombay, where I would MC, and these were like side hustle gigs that you do alongside uni. But before I could really, I didn't know that a profession like that existed. And rolling from there, it was 8 long years of working with the best organizations from Google, Samsung, Amazon's launch in India, Trump Tower's launch in India, you name it, to working with every possible celebrity. And alongside this, I started my first business because back in 2012, there was a very large skilling opportunity in India where a lot of fashion brands like Zara, H&M, Forever New were moving and setting up stores in India. But the shop floor staff did not quite know back then how to deliver a lifestyle or a luxury fashion experience. So similarly in media, high definition television had just come to India, and your one TV channel was now going into 7 or 8 different TV channels, and a lot of talent being recruited but not being prepared for television. Similarly, for universities, a lot of students preparing to go abroad but not necessarily knowing how to maneuver that. So my first business was an image consulting and a leadership development firm, which I was a solo entrepreneur. And I would primarily work with retail, university and media clients, education and media clients. And building that business as a solo entrepreneur, I ran it pretty well for 3 years alongside my media career. So I'd make money in emceeing and presenting and hosting and plunge all of that into my business. And very soon, I think, things kind of compounded into burnout. So, trying to, keep your feet in two boats and build both of them successfully. And it was around that time that I moved back to the UAE and wanted to make sure that other women in business didn't go through what I did. And that's when a friend of mine and I got together and started Incubate, which started in the pandemic as a pandemic baby, where initially it was about just providing tons and tons of skilling for women that are passionate about entrepreneurship or those who have already started and are looking to grow. Then when the world started opening up, women were like, we want to meet other people. So we started doing tons of networking events. Today, the community has grown. The network, actually, I refrain from using the term community, but the network has grown to almost 7,500 female founders. And also, we've expanded our horizons with working with, as long as there's one woman entrepreneur in the founding team, we work with them. We very strongly stand for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So diversity, whether it's nationality, whether it is age, stage of life, equity in terms of opportunity, and inclusion. Hence, it's not a women exclusive community anymore. But as long as there's one female founder, we work with them and we bridge investor interactions.
Nice. When you look at a person, male or female, you hardly know what they have and what they're going through. When I looked at you, I would never think that you are actually have your own, building material suppliers and a construction materials company, and things like this and things like Incubate. Such community gives that power, gives that placement. So I'm a fan of your what you've done with Incubate. What is gone, having a 7,500 members, and coming from where you are and what it is, and to be able to share this journey with us means a lot to us. I'm going to ask a quick question. Childhood memory that's indicative and defines who you are today.
A childhood memory that defines who I am today. Dil, you should have asked me to prepare for this.
The funny thing is, I don't even know what the questions are. I don't even know. I don't know. They just float in. They just come to me in my head, and that's how I like it.
I love that too. And I think what you're doing is truly, unique. It's first
Thank you very much
in Dubai, so
thank you
to you on that, and wish you all the best. As I think of a memory, I think back in school, I was quite an ambivert. I was blessed to be in parliamentary positions, but I remember I was in a convent school, but I was asked to, read the morning and the afternoon prayer. And so the morning prayer was a school assembly where you'd have all the students from school in the audience, and you're standing on an elevated podium and reading the morning prayer and hymns. And the afternoon was about a parting prayer for the day. And I remember, the first time listening to my own voice on the mic. And I think the first time I had to do that, especially on the school intercom, the morning one was still fine because you'd still have two more girls, you could hide behind them and still be okay. But the afternoon prayer was just me. And I remember the first time it was like I couldn't say anything. People were waiting because, everyone gets impatient when, school's getting over. They want to run to the buses. And the intercom has gone live and there's like a 10-minute silence of no one speaking because I'm trembling head to toe with what to do and with the whole idea of the whole school and, teachers can hear me. And I think that first day I didn't speak. And I went back to my principal saying that I don't think I can do this. You need to find someone else. And she's like, no, you're going to do it again tomorrow. And I came back. I spent the entire day preparing. And that was my first introduction. And the next day I did a good job. That was the first time I held the mic, in a sense, in school, only to realize that later it would become a profession. So, yeah, I think God kind of prepares you in ways that you can't even imagine. And when you look back is when you connect the dots to how things kind of play out.
Picking upon how you prepare, what are the hardest lessons you've learned while building from ground up? that you wish more women were told honestly before they started?
A lesson that I've learned, I think, energy and time are currency, right? The way you spend your time and the energy, who you surround yourself with shapes your energy. Where you invest your time shapes your energy. How much time you put into your own personal development, growth, and learning, that is something that shapes your energy. And I think both of them are the true currency we have in today's time. Anyone can model tech, anyone can bring in the best that is out there, but your time, your individuality, and the energy that you put into anything that you want to do define the outcomes that you can create.
So beautifully put. I was reading an article, and it was to do with investments. That's my forte. This is what I love talking about, and entrepreneurship. And I clearly said that founders lose their business because they're afraid to ask for what they want and what they're worth. Before they walk into the room with the investor, they actually think the investor is superior. Where I think completely opposite after reading that article, because the investor's done nothing. He's got a kit of money, he needs to play with, he needs to capitalize on you. You need to put yourself on the highest pedestal. And I think that's a thought I think, and I think even when I speak to my colleagues, not my staff, my colleagues, I call them, because we bring all our brains together to build Pod Show Warriors, Emirates Podcast Warriors, and all the ventures I'm involved with. I'm not on my own. I always say to them that you are more important than me. You don't owe me nothing, I owe you nothing. Both of us have brilliant skill sets. You are your master, I'm your master. If we bring that together. So that's something I see, unfortunately I have to say that. I see a lot of women walking in, majority women I see that in, walking into a room and they think that next person or the next woman that's done it is superior to you. You've lost the game. You guys are on another pedestal that I can't talk about. I see what my mother does. My father's success comes from my mother. And I'm not boasting anything like that. If I am where I am, if I've done what I've done, it's because of my mother and to a beautiful woman that's behind me, it's my wife. And my heart trembles when I say that. To put up with me, the missions I go on and the things I do, and there are many blokes out there like that. So when you see these big businesses that's done well and these big CEOs and everything, it's not because of us. We do the work. But there's one thing that we men are very weak at and we need is support. And that comes from you people. That comes from mothers. So you should put yourself right up there. And honestly, what you're going to achieve, your bridge is going to be very short. Because I saw a post and it said, what's the job of a CEO? And it was something like, okay, to keep up sickness, to clean the bathroom, to iron the clothes, to cook the dishes. And I was like, okay, which CEO does that? I wouldn't like to apply for this role. Right, then I read that, okay, it's a mother. I said, okay, this is a gimmick. So yeah, thank you very much for that.
Interesting to say that, Dil, but I think the other thing that women really need to understand is that not every business and not every founder needs an investor to be able to put yourself in that situation, right? And that's the common misconception where, I often tell women that are married, make your husband your first investor, right? You don't need an external. That is today NQB is completely bootstrapped. We've been building it for the last 5 years. We've not raised any external investments or debt, right? And the magic of what you do lies, number one, what will give you that confidence to really land up with an investor and feel very, very certain about what you're building. Firstly is if you have enough proof that you've met product market fit, right? What do we mean by product market fit? Which is, today, fortunately, there are so many metrics with which you can track your growth, right? When you're getting started, earlier if someone would ask me, what do you do? When startups weren't a thing, we'd say, I'm a small business owner. Today, startups in the last decade is like the cool terminology to use. And thanks to that there are so many goalposts that you can check along the way. Okay, have I got my minimum viable product? Have I got my product market fit? Have I built traction? And when you've got all of that in place, then maybe if your business is of a certain type, is when you need an external investor. Maybe your business is more suitable for debt. There are so many other ways of alternate financing today. So you don't even have to I have so many women who come to me where they've not got product market fit and they're building pitch decks to raise investments. And I'm like, why are you doing that? So yeah.
Look, I've seen completely opposite. I was working with a woman and she came to me and she said, I built all these abayas. And I said, okay, bring them in. Let me have a look. And in this room, she came in. I went, these are coats. Where's your market? She went, Dubai. I said, have you seen the thickness of this fabric? Because people will wear it. I said, this is a trench coat, right? Having a vision and an idea is brilliant. Knowing the market fit is another one. You might have the best idea, best product, right? It's like if a real estate guy comes to me and says, look, I want one of the best apartments that money could buy, right? He'll probably go and show me, let's take typically Burj Khalifa. I can't afford something in Burj Khalifa, right? So understanding what your market fit is truly something very, very important. I think I'm deviating a little. I'm going to come back because Rain is going to be watching like, what are you doing? Okay. Avneet, you help women align vision with strategy. What's the biggest mind shift that women need to make to scale the intention, not just speed in 2025? Because a lot of them, like, I want to get it done. What is the mind shift that they need to have?
I think the mind shift is getting it out of the head onto paper. A lot of women I see, actually, I wouldn't just want to gender.
I think generally everybody.
But a lot of early stage entrepreneurs in general, right? When you have an idea in your gut, you feel driven to saying, okay, there's something that I want to do. There's something here I want to build. But a lot of it is rumination in the mind. We don't really put it down. And when you're not able to put it down, in fact, if there's one thing you can take away from this conversation today, is if there's something that you've been mulling over, and if you can put it down on a sheet of paper, that's your first step to manifestation. It's out of your head onto paper. When you're able to look at it is when you're able to streamline it, is when you're able to organize it, look at relevant and build on that foundation. The other thing I don't see women do enough is ask for help and guidance early on, right? They keep thinking that they're not ready. They keep thinking that they need to prepare to be asking for support. And learning and development is a lifelong game. But the sooner you're able to connect with somebody who either can give you a perspective or has been there and done that. And I say this with caution because it's also really important who you take advice from, right? A lot of people, we get influenced. We all of us are sponges, right? Like, for the lack of a better word, it's very easy to influence and not and become uninfluenced. So anything that a person may say, someone might shoot down your idea. Someone might say something in a way where before the seed was planted and maybe it could, be fertilized and pivoted a little. Maybe you shoot it down because you asked the wrong person for advice. And that person could not possibly fathom the way you were thinking about it. So it's really important to get feedback, and more importantly, feedback from the right people.
Absolutely. Look, there is too much, in Hindi there's a word called gyan, in English is knowledge. There's too much free gyan and knowledge out there. You have to be very, very careful as to who you speak to. And going back to what was said earlier, who you surround yourself. Sometimes to be comfortable, we don't want to speak to somebody who's more superior than us. Superior is not the word, but that knows more, that's done it. That's the challenge that you need to put in. You want to speak to the person that is on a higher pedestal that's done it, that's had the journey. They'll give you walk the walk, talk the talk. Whether some people are like, okay, textbook. I'm not saying there's a wrong with it. Someone who actually physically walked the journey, they'll give you a better perspective. So reaching out, coming to communities, being part of an group circle, having friends that you can truly talk to, that's where it starts, right? Everything starts at home, right? That will get you to the next step, and that will build your confidence as well. And they'll give you little trigger points that you can say and mention things. It will really, really help you. Look, this is not a panel conversation. This is about you guys. I do request you to ask questions, get involved. Any questions that you have, anytime, anything in your mind, please ask. We have a mic, we'll bring it, and that will be a moment as well. Do we have any questions in the audience?
First of all, Avneet, thank you so much for sharing your journey. There are a lot of things that do connect and resonate because, I'm also someone brought up in Middle East. So sometimes it's like, the dysphoria of where do I belong? but then eventually we own our journeys ourselves. So my question as an entrepreneur, as we are looking at businesses, is one, I think one on the counterparts of where we see the male domination in most of the business fields, but also we seek validation. As a woman, we always want to see that, okay, someone validating me, I'm good, then I'll be happy to, embark on that project or the journey. Second is when we look at wealth advisory or financial planning, I still feel as women, we don't have or we don't get those platforms where we can connect. I could be wrong, but personal to my journey is what I felt. And last question would be where, as an entrepreneur or as an advisory, where we are looking to say put a price to our service. If we are overpriced, we lose the project. But if we put a price where we want to match to the competition in the market, it's being devaluing ourselves, right? So how do you advise in these aspects?
I mean, with respect to validation, I think the first thing would be let it never be people, but data, right? Data doesn't lie, and data is the best validator. So today, if what's a nice way to say this? Expecting validation from people is a very, very tricky slope. So I would always rely on data, and today there are enough and more ways to do that. You want to, for example, you're launching, tell me about your business. What is it? You mentioned management consulting.
Yes. From HR into strategy and operational for organizations, I moved into where I was part of merger and acquisitions. So I have that experience, and now that is helping me connect founders and advisories who are actually looking to set up businesses over here. And then I also look at not just the setup, you need to also scale up. So how do we build your brand for you? So that's where I come in and one, start off with the advisory space, but then implementing phase and moving on to how do we ensure the personal branding and the professional company branding is out of the market.
See, in your case, it's a services business, right? It's not a product-driven business. If it was a product-driven business, what I would say is, a simple way to do it, to get validation on what you're doing, could be, having a landing page, running some ads, measuring clicks, looking at how long people spent on your website, right? In your case, because it is a very personal brand-driven business, people are going to come to Mubashira for her advice, her presence in the region, and wanting to know how they can tread here. Your personal brand becomes, I don't want to use the term validator, but it becomes your funnel into people wanting to work with you, right? So a way to measure it would be, okay, if I set up a Calendly link for someone to book 10 minutes with me, 15 minutes with me, how many calls am I able to drive organically? If I do a certain piece of content, does that drive more calls for me, right? If I went to an event, I integrated a QR code, someone scanned it, and they booked a call with me. With that approach, am I able to drive more calls? So that number of calls, people that you're talking to that are potential leads, could be a metric for your business to measure performance, right? The other thing that you said was about wealth and women not being prepared with wealth. So this year, and Dil, you were asking me about Davos, we were launching our annual theme for the year, which is called the 2025 Wealth Shift. As of last year, BCG, McKinsey, and a lot of these, big four consulting companies came out with multiple reports talking about something called the 30 trillion wealth transfer, where by 2030, they are expecting almost 30 trillion in terms of wealth, USD, to move in the hands of women and the next generation, either by inheritance, alimony, professional success, or otherwise. And with this amount of wealth shifting hands, the question remains, is our current next generation and women prepared with how to use and grow and preserve this wealth? So that's another very big, you can say pillar that we are working on this year, with having organized global events across Singapore, across Davos, across India, working with INSEAD Private Equity Club. So we do a lot of stuff. Dubai, we just finished something. We are planning another very large wealth conference in November. So we are actively working on this, right? But the first thing is, it starts with us individually taking responsibility of our money, right? And I don't want to preach here because I'm also guilty about this. For the longest time, I had an insecurity about numbers and finance, and it overwhelmed me. My husband's a finance major, he's a CA, he's done his CFA, and it was like, okay, here you go, take this, manage it. And initially, he did do that. But the one thing I did right was I would schedule a monthly call with him to understand, even if he's managing my money, how is he doing it? How is he making decisions? What is he doing? What are the rooms for growth? And it is still something I continue to do. I don't have the time because my business is extremely demanding of me traveling and, being with people and doing stuff to be able to track which equity is doing better. So I think having the discipline around your finance and the ownership to your money is also something that as women we need to be more responsible for.
Mubashir, a quick question. Validation or judgment? Validating or judging? Which one? Just clarity. Validation. Okay, all right. A quick thing is, especially because we connected before, especially with yours, it's pretty easy to put a price tag on it. First thing, you need to know who's in the market, but you're very different from what the ones in the market are doing. Then it's your time, what you bring, how you want to price it. That's a conversation we'll have separately, but I think you sit in a very sweet spot for some of the good reasons that we spoke about. You're not for the masses, right? You're running something very lean, very practical, and people can actually see the tangible return they get when they work with you.
Yeah, because for me, to be honest, is when I started my journey moving into those kind of entrepreneurial journey and connecting with people, I did not want to just be an advisory and just move out. I wanted to ensure more than advisory, look at 360 and look at, if I'm starting something with someone, I want to ensure there is a success metric where, I am being there. And then over a period of time, once they scale up and move out, I can step back and at least I can say I finished my job and I was there in that sense.
Vasha, have you ever prepared a competitive landscape? Like a document trying to map something? Again, I'm a stickler for getting out of the head onto paper because it is truly what has changed the game, and this is something that I coach a lot of founders on, which is literally how do they plan, how do they take idea into execution, into results. So have you actually built a competitive landscape saying, okay, these are the guys, whether it's organizations or people that are in my space, this is how I'm measuring them, this is their reach, these are the brands they're working with, this is how they're pricing, these are their differentiators. Your pricing will always, if you want to mark yourself higher, is going to be equivalent to the value that you drive, right? If you're not able to show a differentiator, you're going to fight the red ocean. What you want to do is be in the blue ocean where you're not as competitive. You're not pulled in directions by competition, but defining your differentiator and your value add becomes really important. So if that is, okay, I also speak Arabic, I understand the culture, and if you're coming from a different country and you're looking at launching in this market, I can also give you a culture deep dive, right? That could be something that you factor in. It's just an idea, but I hope you understand the context where I'm coming from.
So I've just started that, wherein I've started to meet I would say competition, but also someone has that background as well. So I'm meeting those people to see one, what I can learn, and two, what is my niche that I'm looking to build. So I'm in that phase right now.
Perfect. Wish you the best.
Mubashir, I think when it comes to providing product, it's a physical thing that you can. When it comes to service, it's the uniqueness. I'll give you a typical example. 2018, I priced one of my services at $14.99. I sat in a room and I spoke to some people, and I walked away and I did not close that deal. 4 months later, I got the call. My $14.99 was just the administration fee. Then I made them pay for 6 months up front at 22,000 dirhams per month. It's really what you put on the table, and if the person on the side actually sees the value, and like you said, if you can be there to give you that, it just works for you. So if the price is how you is your time, what you put, and that needs to be fair to the other person, and it just works. Okay, we are picking up from what you said is that you're developing Incubate and you've done a lot of stuff, and a lot of the people that come to our communities, they are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, on that million, getting over that 5 million. They're still on their first business. The burnout is huge, especially amongst you guys. Some of you are mothers, you've got kids. Some of you are wife, you got husband, you're living with in-laws. Some of you even are students and trying to juggle into a business. How do you balance work, life, motherhood, and business?
See, I'll be honest with you. I'm honestly a little tired of this narrative as a woman, I think, yes, we have a lot to deal with, but so do men, right? And more importantly, putting food on the table for all those people. I mean, the woman still, I feel today, and please forgive me on this, but we still have the option to be the support and the support income versus the breadwinner. So I think I'm consciously wanting to move away from this, oh, women have it harder, they have a lot to do. Yes, they have a lot to do.
I did not say that. That did not come out of my mouth. I was hoping you say that, and you just said it. Thank you very much.
I mean, we're in 2025. We need to get over this sob story. Today, there's enough and more support out there, and it again comes down to how organized you get with your time. We live in a time of technology with a little money spent. It's also about what you prioritize in life, right? Now, as a woman, yes, you do have an option to go pick and drop your child from school. But if there is, someone you can carpool with, if there is someone you can spend a little extra and prioritize time over those, 200 dirhams, I think it's a choice that you make. And that is the investment that you make in yourself every day, the minute you take ownership of your time. So it is men and women both that have 24 hours a day. We all eat the same food, we sleep the same time, maybe. Yes, we do have different gender-specific roles, but at the same time, that's not a barrier. That's not a barrier. In fact, it's a comfort, right? Today, we do have the option to sit at home and be the provider, the nurturer, versus someone who's hustling outside and, doesn't know if that husband doesn't provide, what happens. 4 lives get affected versus 1 person. At the same time, whilst you do have responsibilities, the question you asked was, how do you not burn out and how do you balance it, right? I mean, this is a core part of the work that I do in my vision coaching sessions. And in fact, I've also published a book on this, which is called The Life Planner, which is for early stage entrepreneurs and for women that are looking to bring in work-life balance and have momentum across different areas of life. So it is something that I would really encourage you to have a look at, understand, grab up. The most important thing is for us to build systems and even for us to look at life as a system, right? If you were to look at life as a cake, we broadly had 5 slices to it. We have our physical health, our mental health, we have our career and finances, we have work, we have our personal growth, we have fun and leisure. What am I missing? And the 5th slice is health, relationships. That's the 5th one, right? Broadly, these are the 5 slices that you're working with. If you're able to become intentional with these 5 slices, or what is it that I'm trying to achieve in each of them, what are the gaps that I want to bridge, and you take a structured approach to it, you take a goal-driven approach to it, where firstly you're clear with what you're trying to achieve. Half the problem is we don't know what we want in each of these slices, and they think that, okay, no, I'm not ready, I'm not, I don't have enough time for it, is because the outcome is not defined, the goal is not defined. You know that you need to pick up your child from school at 2 p.m, you show up at 2 p.m. The same way, when you have those 2 hours at home to work on yourself, go to the gym, you show up. That's not when, oh, I'm lazy, I'm so tired, I'm on my period, and this and that. That is the discipline that women need to bring in. That no matter what, you show up. If there is something that you committed to, you create that time and you do what needs to be done. And it's those micro, things that you do every day that compound into outcomes. So I try not to let myself, I'm not a very disciplined person. This is my weakness, in fact, but I've grown to become tougher with myself, to create that time for myself and for everything that I want to achieve across these 5 dimensions. And then I plan my time and energy according to it and let the universe, do its magic.
There is so much to take from here. When I went to UK, so I expected that, okay, my wife's not been there, so I'll have to do the gardening. So I said to her, where's the lawnmower? She said, why do I need a lawnmower? I said, so I'm going to do the gardening. She said, no, darling, I have a gardener for that. I said, all right. I said, what about your car? Shall I go and drop it off to the garage? She went, no, babes, I've sorted it out. The garage is coming to pick up my car. I said, what about? I said, okay, so what am I doing? He says, nothing. You're working to Dubai time. I'm going to come pick up your son. Okay, we'll catch you after 6 o'clock. So look, the choice is with you guys. We don't have any different. Men, we don't have any different. I don't see any different. I have one only woman working in my office, and hopefully we can have more. And I treat her no different. Right? I treat her like one of the boys, I think. The only thing I don't push and shove her. She told me, thank God for that, you don't do that with me. But I do everything else. We had this conversation this morning, right? We do everything else. There's the question here which I have to ask. Because we talk a lot about investment. And you touched on that slightly earlier. Funding. We all know that the numbers, right? It's said that women receive less than 3% of the global VC's funding. Why do you think that gap still exists? And what practical advice would you give to women founders in the room navigating investor conversations or bootstrapping? You said that a little bit, but I would like to touch on that a little bit more.
This is a very complex, problem. I mean, why do we have just 3% of VC funding? I think firstly, it's a layered answer. So please forgive me if I take some more time. And we do a lot of data reports every year. We've studied this topic. I've lost count of the number of investors we speak to in order to understand where is the issue. And the issue is on both sides, right? The issue is there are a lot of women, and I look at it across the pipeline. Firstly, there's a huge segment of women that do business as a hobby. They don't look at it as a business. They do it as something that can create some petty cash, so that's a different segment of work. Kudos, no issues. They don't even show up to investors. They don't need that, and it's
that's
perfect
passion.
The way they want to do it. The minute we start talking about tech startups, right, we were talking about digitally enabled businesses that are looking to scale, that are looking to sooner or later become investable and become scalable, then it's a very different conversation. Now, this is the segment which is where we do a lot of work at Incubate. We work with digitally enabled businesses that have a proof of concept, they've met MVP, now they're looking for catalytic capital and they're looking to scale. And at this stage, what we find, firstly, there are again multiple layers of the problem. The first is women. There are some of them that have a very large vision, and there's a very large pool that don't allow themselves to have a large vision, right? They think that, okay, I've built this product, I've built a D2C brand, I'm doing this, it's working in India. At the max, they think of, okay, I'm in X city, if I can just expand to metros in my respective country. Very few of them think of building a global brand. So in fact, as an organization, we are the first Indian privately held network that this is our tagline: scale, raise and go global. We've been actively pushing the narrative that women think beyond what you believe becomes your reality. So if you believe that you can build a global brand, you can. If you think that you're going to be building something that is, and again, it's very, very individualistic. Not everyone has to build a global brand. Whatever you do needs to align with your personal vision, mission, and what you want to achieve in your life. But don't be one of those that is living in a pond that does not know that there's an ocean out there. You can choose to be in the pond. That's perfectly okay. But you can't be ignorant in today's time that, there's an ocean
Global
out there.
market.
So that's one. So coming back to your question of why is it just 3% VC funding? First is maybe unawareness when it comes to, or unreadiness when it comes to having a large global vision. The second is lack of confidence to even apply for a lot of these. We do so many prize competitions, grant-based competitions, and women don't even think that they are ready to apply for a cash prize. Forget investor funding, right? Like, we have to literally do activations just to tell them that blessed, apply for the program. Even if you're not ready, it's okay. You can learn and improve, but apply. You don't know what can come out of it. But lack of confidence is another issue. The third is also, and when we talk to investors, of course, everything that we know in terms of them having judgments, gender bias about women becoming pregnant, having
You just said something.
work, all of that rules.
That's not bias. I'll tell you why. Shocking to me.
Mindset.
Shocking to me what happened. I was trying to help a young woman get funding, and she brought 3 investors to me. What did I think of them, just to validate? 2 of them are female investors. I actually spoke to one of them. She went, Dil, the first thing that happened to me, I messed my business up, is when I got comfortable, I got married. I fell pregnant. 9 months, it was a struggle. After that, 2 years, my product was almost obsolete. My experience said I would not invest in a woman because of that. She looks to people, if it's like she's looking at India she had stars. If they've got 2 kids, she's willing to invest in them. I said, why? It's because I don't think they're going to have any more. So this is not only a male thing, this is coming firsthand from a woman. And I sat down, and I hope no one's going to attack me on social media because of saying this. I thought it was very true, because you want to marry someone who's actually stable, who's comfortable. He's done that. So on the investment perspective, from an investor side, it actually makes sense. But the other thing that happens that I see, not for the female, when we go to school, when we go to college, what's one thing our parents say? Get married, get a job. Entrepreneurship, business does not come into it. This is where you're doing a great job what you're doing in Quebec. This is where the pod show comes in. This is where we come in. We are actually creating, and we have that process in place already, where we had a conversation earlier where you said that you actually, one of our guests that said that they provide lean practices. I turned and said, okay, then you can come in here and we'll get a group of people that wants to learn and talk about how to operate a lean practice. So we are going to do a lot of the stuff, how to get funding, how to make it easy with banks, how to, find your co-founder. And this is the place for finding people like yourself. We are short on time. I know you have to run at 1 o'clock. Look, I am thankful to you for making this happen, taking the time. Thankful to the team for sharing your voices, your experiences, your narrative, giving us this space and making this space. This space is yours. It's not mine. It's built like a room. It's your living room. Come in and utilize it. Share these ideas. Go and tell other women, not only other women, other people who are actually having these thoughts, having these doubts, or coming to a block wall, or don't know what to do, or in a room, or not getting out. They need to be part of communities. They can come in here and be involved. We have many domains that we are coming up with. I'm all in for supporting you people, making you have this walk, because from you this is what I enjoy. Seeing you here, you taking something away. If one of you have met one person or taken many things I've learned, I'm going to put in practice, you've taken away, that will mean a lot to us. For me, it's an achievement. Again, thank you very much for giving us the fight. You guys have been amazing. My name is Dil from the Pod Show. Thank you to my team and all of you for being here. Before you leave, please meet each other, share your details. We are going to share Avneet's details. It'll be on our website. If you need any more information from her side, approach any of us. We'll provide it to you. Okay. Thank you very much. And
Well, thank you to you. I think the way you're doing this, the intentional thought into creating a space, into bringing people together, this is truly one of, it is the first live
Yeah.
pod show. And
Yeah.
thank you so much. In your Women Entrepreneur series, I'm your first guest.
You are my absolute first guest. Means a lot. Means a lot.
Very kind of you to do that, and I genuinely wish you all the very best.
Thank you,
You've been. I think your parents have given you the right name. Dil.
Dil, yeah, totally. It can be a weakness.
So
But it's good. I love it. I love it. I love what I am.
I think it brings more power than weakness,
Thank you very much.
and weakness could be a choice. So kudos to you on what
Thank
you're
you.
doing, and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you.